All right. Hello. Incredible greetings. Incredible greetings. Incredible greetings. All right, let's see where we're at over here on the book of the face because it always puts it at the wrong one. Now I can only do, it has to either be only me or friends. It's not giving me the option for public. So I got to see if I got to remove it and then add it back. Like it's just a whole little thing now that I have to go through with, and it's only me. So we're going to remove this. Save changes. And then we're going to add that one back in because, yeah, it's just weird like that. Hello, everyone. We are going to continue our teaching on Canva, Silhouette Studio, and Photoshop just as soon as I figure out where my darn lip gloss went. I don't know where it went. So hopefully my lips don't get too dry. Hello. Incredible greetings. Incredible morning, everyone. Hello, how art thou? I'm gonna see if this 11 o'clock time frame works for me to where I can do this because even once the kids go to school, I could do 11 a.m. I know you guys are at work. Most of you guys are at work. I can't really listen in and all those things, but I got to try and figure out a time that works for me where you guys know to at least try and tune in or look for the live video. I was always opposed to scheduling out lives because I'm like, this is free. I kind of just throw it in there when I need a break from the regular work. So we will see how this goes. All right. Ooh, it's 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm on my live stream teaching my peeps. Mm-hmm. Let's learn, elevate, unlock creativity. Y'all know I like to break out this song. But I might have to turn that. Aquisha was doing some things on Sono. I might have to throw that into a, yeah, I like that. No matter what time I go live, that means I always have to go, like, that means I have to be dedicated and committed to going live on the hour. I have to. So that it makes sense. It's 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm on my stream, yeah, teaching my peeps. Oh, I don't want to say StreamYard because then I'm like, no, I can't say StreamYard because I may not always use StreamYard. So, but that's the first time. Live stream, it's 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm on my live stream teaching my peeps. Let's learn, elevate, unlock creativity. Y'all know I don't have no sense. Oh my gosh. All right, let me get this all shared out because Chabu. Oh my goodness. I am silly. Oh, I'm for real. I may have to like go live like right on like or maybe go a little bit before, like 5 minutes before, and then like when the whatever the hour is, I can do it. If I am on here until 12 o'clock. Yo, I am so going to run that back at 12 o'clock. I am so going to run that back at 12 o'clock. I promise you I am. OM to the G. Okay. I like that. No matter what time I go live, that means I always have to go. I can't say StreamYard because I may not always be StreamYard. So, rest the first time. Live stream, it's 11 o'clock. Go to top. I'm on my live stream. Teaching my piece. All right. So, let's get going here. I'm going to share this out. And actually, let me make sure that this live stream now says to, okay, yeah. So now it does say at least to my friends, my friends list. So let's go ahead and put highlight on this one. All right, so. All right, so at least put the highlight on there and we'll call it a day. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get into this, guys. So it's not too long. Y'all know your girl can teach forever and come off a little long-winded, but it's all in love. It's just to make sure that you guys are getting what you need, what you are hungry for, what you are thirsting for, what you need to grow and thrive in this creative space. So I apologize. Like, blame my heart. Is it blame my heart, not my mind? Blame my heart and my mind, not my mouth. There we go. Because y'all know your girl can talk. I just love to teach. All right. So let's get into this. All right. Because even though it's not 11 o'clock, it's 11 o'clock. Gonna die. I'm on my live stream teaching my peeps. Let's learn, elevate, unlock creativity. Now, every time that song comes on, I'm probably going to crack up in the car or when I hear it, and no one's going to know why I'm cracking up. Anywho, how y'all doing? How you doing? I miss her. Oh my gosh. Like, people say what they want about Wendy Williams, but I miss my child knew like that was my show. Okay, when he was home with me, like before he started going to pre-K, it's like mommy's gonna like run to the living room to catch Wendy. I miss her. OMG. But how you doing? Wish I had me like, oh, I should in homage to Wendy, I should put me some notes in my headband and pull out my notes. Whatever I'm going to teach on or discuss for the day, just to kind of stay on point. Like, oh my God, it's her. It's her. She was awesome. She was awesome. She was awesome. Okay. But I am not Wendy. Okay. Not Wendy. I am Shakeya, the professor to be exact, the creative professor, or as some of my students in my creative business program will like to say, I am the dean, okay, of all things crafty, creative, and growing a thriving creative or custom made side hustle, or to build a sustainable business around this. Or if you're just someone who's like, look, you're going to teach it all. So even if I'm going to do this on a personal level, I need the proper instruction. I'm your girl. All right. I have been at this and got in like officially introduced to the world of design almost 3 decades ago. It's been almost 30 years. Okay. I know the face don't give it, but the gray hairs do. Okay, your girl got a little age on her. Okay, but I've been at this since I was in high school. So I got a little jump on some folk who might just be getting into it. So don't let my 30 year, don't compare my 30 year to your first year or your third year, because I actually was able to kind of get into this where there wasn't this pressure to turn it into anything other than a grade, an A at that. Okay. But I've been at this for nearly 3 decades, 26, 27 years. I've been at this in the creative space and just like when it comes to designing, which is why, although I teach and show like so many different things that you can make and create, I always navigate back to like my core is in the designing. No matter what design program you choose, in what we do creatively, you have to have some working knowledge of design. Like it is the foundation. So my content tends to go to that. I know you guys probably would like to see more of the actual finished the finished product and to see the full on process of doing things. But before you even get there, you got to know how to set it up. Even if you're not going to full on design, you got to know these programs to like to know like how to open them up, how to read like those programs, how to understand your sizing and to resize things and make it do what it is you need it to do. Even if you purchase a template, if you need it to be a specific size, how do you do that? How do you set it up to print? All of these things take place in one design platform or another. And that is what I pretty much dedicate my content to, is making sure that you understand these design softwares. Like at the end of the day, that is my goal. When, people ask, like when you're in coaching programs or you're like you go to a consultant, they're asking like, what's the end goal for your customer? Like, the end user, what is your end goal for them? And for me, it's to understand, I want them to understand these design platforms to the level that they need to understand it. I'm not trying to get you to necessarily be where I am nearly 30 years in, right? Because that may not be your desire to know the inner workings. Like, it's like, I just want to be able to do this and do it without pulling out all of my edges. Like, whatever your end goal is where I want to help you get to. And everybody's end goal is different, which is why I'm always asking so many questions. And your end goal today may not be the one tomorrow. Like, let's focus on what your end goal is today, in this moment, at 11 o'clock on the dot. What is your end goal right now? What is the thing that you need to know in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, hour? Like, by the end of the day, I need to know how to do this so that I can complete something else. I want to help you do that. And if tomorrow you have another goal, guess what? Come on back, come on back, come on back. Or join one of our programs where you can have more exclusive access to me and we can kind of really deep dive into exactly what it is that you're doing. But that is my ultimate goal. Like, if somebody was to ask me again, like, okay, in my business, what is the purpose of my business? Like, what is the goal? And it's really just to help you be as creative as possible and be able to work these design platforms to the capacity that you need them to work at, and like what you need in that moment. Like, that is my ultimate goal. All right. Let me open up over here, because if not, I'm not going to see the comments. Okay. So here we go. Let me go to comments, because, it be acting crazy. Okay, wrong one. It's always acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay, it's showing me the wrong one. Let me do one. I'm sorry, y'all, but I got to be able to. Okay, there we go. So, hey, Crafty Diva, I'm doing incredible. How are you? Okay, so I got to make sure that I pull the comments up over here because they don't show up on my StreamYard feed. And let me turn the volume off on this. There we go, so that you guys don't get that reverb. Okay, that echo on that. All right. So officially, again, like I said, I am Shakeya Lavelle, also known as Shakeya the Professor. Our company is HSC 365. We sell amazing sublimation paper and ink, and that's how some people know us. And I mean, our product is the best, right? It is thebomb.com. But if I'm being honest, it is secondary to teaching. To know me is to know that I love the teaching aspect of it all. I love everything about just helping you like learn something that you did not know 5 minutes ago. Okay. Did not know before you came across the live or the playback. Like, that's primary for me. Our company was built around the teaching aspect. I bumped heads with my husband because he wanted the business to be more so about the things that we create and being more of a print shop. And I just couldn't get away from the teaching aspect of it. That is my love. Like, that is my passion. And I am determined to to fully like embrace it and make that passion work. And we've been doing great for all of these years in teaching. It sounds like somebody has a drone. But yeah, but we do have amazing, incredible sublimation ink. This colors come up great on this gray shirt as well. Here is some other things that are made with our sublimation paper. So it's amazing, amazing, amazing paper and ink. And then we have Silaholics Anonymous is where most of you guys probably were first introduced to me. If you've been here, like if you're an OG, it's probably from the Silhouette. Like, this whole entire design was put together in Silhouette Studio. Like, this version of this rag, this version of this rag, and there's another one on the floor. Ooh, don't talk about my mess behind me, child. Let me cover that up. Jeepers creepers. Hold on now. This version of the design, setting up the boxes, the gaps, putting in the colors, putting in the images. Like, it's not too much to this where you're like creating like splashes and things. Like, just, finding. That was the hardest part about this, was finding all of the images that were, because there were like different ones when it comes to the maritime like type characters, and they were in different styles. So finding all the ones that were like the same was like the hardest part. And then just taking this and just doing an outline of the face and just centering them. Like, that takes some design knowledge as well, and just centering your items to boxes like this. So all of it's, like I said, done in Silhouette Studio, free software. Anyone can use it. You can create any and everything in that software. Okay. Our ink and paper created this lovely tumbler. This was also designed, like, even the pencil part. So not just like, oh, this was a template and then I just added the things on top. Like, the actual pencil design part of which I normally have when we can see just the pencil, that was designed in Silhouette Studio, filling it in with the glitter. Now, the glitter was not created in Silhouette Studio, but just the design itself was. You can do a lot in that program, and it's so powerful. And I have spent almost 11 years teaching it. When I came across it as someone who was an Adobe girl and a Corel Draw girl, like those design programs I use, to come across a program that you could use that was technically free, even if you don't buy the machine, it was free. Now, I think back in the so here's where I think they kind of sort of messed up at. It was like, to install it, the CD used to come with the machine, right? And like, if you needed to do updates and things like that, it was on the account. I think like you had to go into your account and stuff like that. But once they made it to where like anybody can go online and just download it, like, it's free to anyone now. You don't even have to have a machine. Before, you had to get the machine in order to get the CD, in order to put that CD and upload, and download the file. But now you don't. So anyone can use Silhouette Studio, and it's amazing. If you're someone that's just using Canva, a lot of people kind of get into it just as a way to print their designs, like resize them and print their designs. And then some, like, once they're introduced to it from that perspective, they then start to really see what all it can do and will use it as a standalone software. So I'm still teaching it. I don't care what anyone says. Silhouette is not dead. Okay. It is still something worth learning, even with the onset of, and the popularity and the trendiness of Canva. Silhouette Studio is still that girl. Okay. I've also, I teach Canva. We teach Photoshop and things of that nature. And that was Silaholics Anonymous. And then 365 Creative Academy, that's where everything lives. Okay. If you want to learn how to do foam board and get clean professional cuts, you know, if you want to DIY your cuts versus sending them off to a company to have them cut it with CNC router, but you want to just get clean cuts yourself, like baby, those cuts are clean. Okay. I teach the techniques for this in our, we have a class for that on our academy. We teach how to do things like party favors, chip bags, gable boxes. So there's like, you can put it on the outside, you can put it on the inside, and even have it go down where it looks like it's grass and it's extension of it. So we teach you to do a lot in our, on our design academy. We're in our 365 Creative on our online academy. There we go. So check it out. All right. Links are in the description. But we are going to continue our discussion today on the things that you can do from like via Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, Canva, and the differences between them. This is an open forum. As much as I try and move away from asking, doing the Q&A thing, I just can't. So if you have questions, feel free to go ahead and drop those questions. Because like I said, my goal at the end of the day is to help you understand these softwares and how to use them to the capacity that you need today. Okay. We'll worry about all the other stuff later on, and you'll just grow to that. Like as Kelly A said, it's taking baby steps. Uh-oh, what's wrong with my mouse? There we go. It's taking baby steps. All right. So hello. Incredible morning. It's getting harder to find good SVGs. Like SVGs, like what? Tell me, what type are you talking about? Like just text-based ones that already have a message to it in like really great fonts? What type of SVGs are you looking for? Hi Sandra, how are you? My end goal, how to print larger than the paper size on the Epson ET 15,000. So there is no line when you join the paper. Okay, so I got your email notification, jumped on. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it was up for like a second. I have to put those back on. We actually did really great at our closeout. And as we're, emptying out boxes and things like that, there were some boxes on the bottom of stacks, and we found a few rolls. So I have to put them on there, like on the site. But it's going to go to those on our email list first. I just haven't had the opportunity to do that just yet, because I've been working really hard on making some adjustments to some classes. So yeah, I am going to break that down for you, Sandra. Okay, just give me a moment. Let's see. The job went well. I need 250. I need 250 screen prints myself. So I have that under my belt. Another 250 box just arrived. For an Epson, 1,400 for detail printing for the rest. Huh? Okay, wait. So you did 250 of the screen prints. And so now you see another box. Is that another box of shirts or another box of prints, like transfers? And then you're going to do, so for that 250, you're going to do DTF for that 250 instead of doing like the regular. But that's going to be a totally different look, isn't it? The screen print versus like half of them is going to be screen print. If that's what you're saying, half of it is going to be screen print, the other half is going to be DTF. Won't that give it a totally different look? Do templates exist for Silhouette Studio? Do you know any good ones for it? Templates like what? Because there's a big difference in how I define a template and what some others may define as a template and what's simply an editable design file. So are you truly looking for a template, or are you looking for an editable design file? Okay. All right. So let's get into this, right? Because we're going to go to Sandra's question as far as being able, like, so there's no line. We have a class that goes over that. It's our oversized. Now, when I talk about improving classes and things of that nature, that's one of them. Because I think I need to add to that, because I was teaching about like creating your own template and how I did it when I first got started with it. And when there was no templates, like someone says, like for a mug, like creating that myself. I used to take the shirts, I took a picture of it, I brought it into Silhouette, I did like a trace of it, I outlined like so I know where the collar is. And in hindsight, like nowadays, like that's too much. Most people prefer the box design. But I think for me and how I design, I want to know for sure. I still like would do that, but kind of like switch it up a little bit, because you do of course want to know like where the edges of your shirts are, so you don't make like your design too big and you just put it in this box and then it's not on the shirt. And then of course I would never want someone's head to be at the collar, where they like, well, I want my head to be at the collar and it gets cut off, right? So I then also foolish, like I look back at it and I think it was great for the people who were in the room because they kind of got to see some design techniques, but that wasn't really like the ultimate goal of it. So as I'm going back through classes, it's somewhere I'm just like, we can run this back and we can do this a little bit different. Right now, I think everyone is like, what's the trending thing where people want to know like about piecing them together isn't even really like the all over shirts. It's those who want to do the clack bands and want to do them in-house versus sending them off. So it's like, how do I piece this together? When it came to things like the stoles, it was really easy for that one because you didn't really have to piece anything together after the print because you were making the page longer, not wider. So the having the line only becomes an issue when you want to make things wider. But if you're just going longer, like for a stole, for a tie, for a, let's see, what else is like long and skinny, like a lanyard, things of that nature, you can simply just tape your papers together. You want to overlap it about 1/4 of an inch, get you some not duct tape, some frog tape or some really good like painter's tape. The one from Amazon works great. And you want to just tape that on the back, and then you're going to feed that into your printer and it's just going to print to it. And you don't have to worry about piecing anything together, and you won't see a separation of the print. Now, what you might see, depending on how much pressure you're adding, is where those papers meet at, you're going to see a line of demarcation. Okay. And you can try and repress that to kind of get that out, but you know, because it's two papers on top of each other. So it's like, it's thicker. It's not paper thin. So you may see like that, but it won't be like this separation of the design where you're having that like white gap. The other thing with that too is the type of paper you're using, because some of them, when you press it and it doesn't fit on your entire heat press, right at the edge of that heat press, it can radiate too much heat and it's starting to gas off the image. And so by the time you go, even though you're overlapping, you've gassed off some of that image. So it's still leaving like a little gap or like white. So the paper that you choose is going to be very important as well in the results that you get, because not all paper is created equal, especially if you're using too much heat and too much pressure, you may be the issue. So that's that. That's why I'm like, for me, I love when you guys are coming to my classes, or I have a class where it's about this topic and I can really break it down for you, because there's layers to it. I know that you guys would like it to be kind of a one-shot answer. And it's like, okay, this is exactly what you need to do in order to get these results. But it's like, the reason why you are experiencing issues, it might be different from person to person. For some, they can be using the right paper, they can have it set up the right way, but their temp is too high, so it's gassing off too much sublimation, of the ink, or you are pressing it too heavy and it's creating this gap where it's causing it to like gas off, or you're not overlapping. There's layers to it. So it's not just a kind of, just a simple thing. So why classes are so important. I know that you guys rather try and figure it out from someone on YouTube or TikTok. Oh, you can learn everything on TikTok now. You know, it's YouTube University. Now it's TikTok Academy, TikTok College, whatever you want to call it, right? But normally they're showing you like the perfect way that works for them. Any student of mine who's been in a class know that I'm going to let you know, like, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. If it's this, you do this. If it's this, you do this. Because most times you're not going to see mistakes. People don't like to show their mistakes and the correction for it when they're doing content. Like, as content creators, it's almost like, okay, you have to show up perfect. Like, people want to see the great finished product, not the hiccups a lot of the time. Like, some people will go and they'll do the oh no, but it's just a sound of, effect over it versus like really explaining it. In my classes, like, I'm giving all of that to you so that if you run across these things, you are fully prepared. So it's our oversized class on the Academy site. And that's also where I show you how to line them up in an easier way. We have a video that, it's on our Silhouettes Anonymous as well as our Honestly Speaking channel that goes through Silhouette Studio and breaking up a design and having to overlap in order to be able to print that out and be able to line it up. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. I had to be a mom real quick. Okay. All right. So that's that. And what was I saying? And then as far as like, if you're going wider, you just have to make sure that there is overlap. You cannot print it like splitting it and then just print. You have to create like overlap. So a little bit of the design that's on part A needs to be on the end of part B so that when you overlap them, like that part that overlaps is the same part of that design. That's how you're going to avoid that. You cannot go butt to butt when you're doing it. You got to overlap. Okay. So hopefully that kind of gets you in. I'm not sure exactly which issue you were having, but hopefully one of those kind of helps you. All right. So the totes 250 and they don't mind the DTF. Okay. So you're going to do the rest of them via DTF. All right, cool beans. Okay. So do they exist? We have mug templates. I don't know if, let me check my vault. I don't know if I've ever done a 15-ounce mug to where I have created a template for it. Are you trying to do a full wrap mug or wherever your heat press goes to? So I'll show you. Let me see. I have a few mugs over here. This one broke. So there is a difference in, I don't think I have another one. I got to bring another. And when I was in an old spot, I had a display of a bunch of things. So this is a full wrap mug. Like you can see, it goes under the handle. And this takes some work. I mean, this did take me cutting it. Like for me, for this particular one, I put it on there and then I cut with an X-Acto knife, so that it's like right up on the handles. Some people will create, or some people have like a universal template and it will go over it, but you'll end up with a much bigger circle around it. I could have gone a little bit closer and let the sublimation paper kind of go onto the handle, because they didn't take, see, like that's actually the handle part. That's not the actual mug. They just didn't take the black all the way to the handle. And I probably could have, like, split it and then like let it just kind of fall around it. But if you look on the actual mug, don't mind my fingers. Oh my God, they're horrible. It's right to it. Where some people will do an oval. Well, the oval one just makes it easier to just kind of put it and go, and you're not worried about it. If you're wanting it like this, there's no template that's ever going to give you this coverage. You would have to kind of create that. So we had a sublimation seminar, and in that sublimation seminar, I showed the exact technique for how to do this. And it is more work. So this is not something that I would do like a gang of mugs for, because you literally have to cut each one of these around the handle in order for it to be this close and this tight. But as far as it's just a rectangle, and then like where those circles are, like I said, I don't know if ours is, if it includes 15 ounce. I know it's 11 and something else, because the Cricut one, I think the Cricut one is like 12. I want to say ours are like either like on average is like 10, 11, 12, because also, again, man, here is where classes, I can't speak for anybody else's classes, but like for my class, I literally showed a bunch of mugs where the handle was different. I have some mugs where it has like a really thin like handle, and it doesn't go, like it doesn't come down. So that's a different template. There, the hell was that? There are some where this part of the mug comes down lower. That's a different template. And I'm the type of instructor where I know that it's not universal. A lot of people teach based off of the exact supplies and like blanks that they have. I went out and I'm like, okay, once I saw it was different, okay, I'm getting this, I'm ordering different ones. And I'm showing that in my classes that you may come across this type of mug, this type of mug, this type of mug. These are different. You would have to do X, Y, and Z. I have plenty of classes where I've taught how to do those templates. But if you're not worried about going underneath this is what we'll do our first lesson. I will show how to create this in Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, and Canva, okay? So first thing you want to do is measure, right? It's best if you have the flexible measuring tape, but if you don't, I did this last night and I had my sister cracking up. I don't care what you use, as long as it will wrap around the mug, and then you can use a straight ruler, okay? So I don't want to do a full-on teaching. Oh, this is so hard. This is why I don't do this, because it's so hard. This is why I have dedicated classes, because I'm not going to go, I promise I'm not going to go into it, but I'll just say this. Certain heat press, like if you have let's just say a Cricut mug press, it doesn't go anywhere near the handle, right? It's like out here somewhere. So you have to know like that measurement to know like where to put your design at. Because if you go and you just measure like from handle to handle, and you put your design and you start to design to the edge, you're going to lose half of that, like part of that, because your heat press, like if you're using a mug press, it doesn't heat in that area. The only way to do this is in an oven. There's no way to do this with a mug press. You have to be willing to use an oven in order to get this. So, your template, quote unquote, to not go all the way around, would be like from here until like here, right? So I have this marked. I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to put where my finger is at the 0 mark, and I'm going to come to the end here. And so this is literally like 6.5, right? So that's 6.5 going around for this particular mug. And then from top to bottom, again, I'm just going to put this here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to use a ruler. I'm going to put my finger at 0 and then take the end. So that is 3 3/4, right? So I said 6 and then 3 3/4. You're just going to go and enter that, and then you're going to create your design. All right. So that's how you do that. You don't know some things, you just need to know the how. You don't necessarily need a template because it's just a box, right? I know people hate when I used to say that. It's just this, it's just that, but it really is just a rectangle. So once you have that measurement, how do we now put this in a design program? So thank you for your question. This will be the first full-on example of how we would do that in Silhouette Studio, how we would do that in Cricut Design Space. We're not doing Cricut. Do that in Canva, and how we would do that in Photoshop. Okay. So that's what we're going to demonstrate first. All right. Yes, the full wrap was done in an oven. It requires an oven. Sorry if you, okay. So someone else, this, in order to do a full wrap, it must be an oven. There's no way for you to ever use a mug press. A mug press will never go underneath the handle. All right, hold on. Oh no. Okay, I had to turn off the audio. Okay, so let's get into this. Okay, we're gonna go over to El Silhouette El Studio. All right, let me switch to here. Wait a minute. Oh, it's not showing me. It's not showing me the, what's it? Okay, it's okay. So I'll just go add to stage, and here, add to stage, and here. Okay. So this part right here, it doesn't matter what you have here, because this, like what you'll make this is whatever size paper you're going to print this to. So if you were going to print out multiples of these and you're going to put it on 11 by 17 paper, that is what you would make your design page or your print page size. Okay. So normally when I am designing, I don't even care about this part. Okay. I will go ahead and just put none because I'm not going to use a machine to cut it out. I'm going to move over to the right, to the left, up, down, whatever. When I'm designing, everything is everywhere. I don't come to this area until I am ready to either print something or I am ready to cut something. Okay. So in Silhouette Studio, what you need to create a template is to make a box, and you're just going to put a random box there. Right now, the size does not matter. All you need to know is where to go at to create a box, because essentially that is what this template is. It's simply a rectangle. It's a box. So in Silhouette Studio, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth icon. I'm in business edition, so fifth icon down. It says drawing tools. You're going to make a box. The next tool that you will need to know where it's located and how it operates would be the transform. So I can get you guys to put transform in the chat. Transform. And that is going to be this icon right here. Once you have that, you're going to go to the second one, which is scale. If I can get you guys to put scale in the chat. So the next one is going to be scale. You're going to go to transform and you're going to go to scale. Once you're in scale, you're going to unlock the lock. Okay, you're going to unlock your ratio. So unlock ratio is the next step. Then you're going to change your width and height based off of the measurements that you got, like that you wrote down. So our width was going around, that was 6. Our height is 4. This is the template. Now, for me, I teach all of my students to go to offset and do an internal offset. And I recommend having a safe zone. And this is where anything of importance will go in this area, okay? To make sure that it doesn't get cut off. Now, the background, I'm like this one, I'm going to fill in with whatever I need. If you are going and then like your design will feel like, if I'm going to just put like a picture or something on it, I don't have a full background. I'm just going to put it like within here, because this is also gives me like my edge to make sure I'm not too close to the edge and it's not going to get cut off. So you might go a little bit over that, but I try to keep the design within here. Okay. Because I'm going to put a picture or something there. If I am going to do a full bleed, I duplicate this. I'm going to do an offset. And it doesn't have to be that big because we made it pretty much the exact. So we just want a little bit. So I might do that one at like 0.125. Okay. And I'm just going to look at what that height is. So the height for that now becomes 4.25. I'm going to delete that. And on this one right here, I'm going to go back to transform. And I'm going to change that from 4 to 4.25. Because I don't need the sides to have bleed to them, because I have a hard cutoff for where my heat press will actually heat it up at. So I'm not trying to extend the sides, but I want the top and bottom to go past the edges to ensure that I have a full bleed. Okay. And then you just fill it in. So whether like in Silhouette Studio, you can crop something to this, or if you have a pattern or you want to fill it in with a color and then add your text or add your image, whatever it is, or you can go into patterns, you can add a pattern there. Now you just design, okay? And then once you complete this design, here's where you're going to come over here. And if you're going to print to 8.5 by 11 inch paper, you're going to put 8.5 by 11. And you're going to put your template. And on 8.5 by 11, you'll be able to do 2 of these, on here. If you're doing 11 by 17, whatever, however many you can fit on there. So you're going to arrange this on this page to be able to print, because you're doing everything here. You don't have to, like, me making this rectangle is going to be the equivalent of what you will see me do in Canva. Okay. So that's that. Now, if we were to utilize Canva, there's 2 ways that this could be done if you're utilizing Canva. If you want to make sure that, you don't have to worry about frames and things, and it's going right to the edge, you would go to custom size. You're going to go to units of measurements. You're going to put in inches, and then you're going to put in that size. Now, this is where I will say, sometimes people need templates, or they need to not necessarily know templates. You just need to know the measurements to put something in. You don't always need a template. Sometimes you just need the measurements. In Silhouette Studio, I was able to do an offset, and it told me exactly what that new dimension was for the height. Well, in Canva, you can't really do that to where you're going to put an offset and it's going to give you like the new height, right? So you kind of have to art, like someone has to have a list of these dimensions on it where you can plug it in. So if I was just doing a regular one, maybe no bleed, I would type in the width of 6, the height of 4. If I knew I wanted to have a bleed, I'm going to type in 4.25. And then we're going to create a new design. It's going to give me that size. So if I were to come in here and I'm just going to put this background and I'll set that as a background. And then we're just going to add some text, and I don't care which one they give me. We're going to do teamwork, and we're going to put this here. If I now go and save this, so we're going to go to share. You're going to go to download. You're going to save this, whether you want to do a PNG or a JPEG. I typically tend to do JPEG, but I think that it was said that for Canva, PNG gives you a better quality. You just don't choose transparent background because you don't need it to be transparent background, but that's up to you. JPEG and PNG, they're going to give you the same thing. Now, when I go into JPEG, I choose JPEG because unlike PNG, PNG doesn't have a quality slider. It just has a size slider. JPEG has a quality slider. So I'll just take this quality all the way up and I'm going to download it. Right? Now you can go back into Canva and you would make this, if you're going to print to 8.5 by 11, you're going to make open up an 8.5 by 11 page. And then you're going to drag and drop or go to upload, however you decide to do it, you're going to bring in your file. Once you bring in that file, you need to go to position and make sure that it is at the right dimensions. So this right now is not. It's saying 5.25 and 3.72. I'm going to make sure that this is locked. I'm going to change this to 6 because I know that's what it should be. And it jumped to 4.25. So now it's the right size. I'm going to go ahead. I can duplicate and I can print this out. Or you could utilize Silhouette Studio and you would either go file open, file merge, whatever you want to do, or you can drag and drop. So if you go file open or file merge, you would go and look for that file. That type of information is in our Silhouette training class. It's like day 2, how to do all those different things. Don't sleep on that class. It's amazing. And then, so if not, I would come over here and I'm just going to drag and drop. So I'll just drag this down, drop it in, and in here. So we see how when we brought that back into Canva, it did not give it to me at the correct size. It was like 5.2 something for the width. But I brought that same exact file, the same exact process, drag and drop into Silhouette Studio, and it's giving it to me in the correct size, 6 by 4.25, and then I would be able to position this and print it. You would not be able to print this file directly from that JPEG, like if you're just using your phone, you would not be able to do that download, go to that JPEG image, and then print it from your phone and send it to your printer. Why? Because it's not set up as if it's like an 8.5 by 11. It's like a 4 by 6. So it's going to print it out where it's too big. It's not going to make that image like just magically fit like whatever size paper. Now, if you are using the ones where it's like a picture and it's going to say, okay, put 2 to a page, or whatever, like if you have some app that does that, maybe. But you would have to bring it back in. You cannot, if you're designing it to size, you cannot print directly from that image on your phone. It needs to go back into something where you're going to put it on the proper page size in order to print it. Are you guys understanding? Like, this is one of the biggest struggles for crafters when it comes to understanding sizing, and they're thinking they did something wrong, and it's just missing that component because whoever they were listening to, whoever taught them, did not break that part down. That is something that, if nothing else, I need for you guys to understand today. If you are designing in Canva to scale, to the size, you need to bring it into another design software to print it, or you have to bring it back into Canva on the size paper, like your design page would then be set to the size paper you're going to print to, and you have to check the sizing of it, which is done under position. Are you guys following me? If you're at work, you're limited on what you can type in. Put a 3 if you're following me, 4 if you're still confused. 3 if you understand, 4 if you're still confused. And if you are still confused, please do not hesitate, like, put it in there so that you can get the understanding that you need if you are still confused, okay? So, oh, dang it, Photoshop wasn't open. Let me open up Photoshop. So that's that. So while Photoshop is opening up, I'm going to come back to Canva, because let's say you already know, hey, I'm going to print to 8.5 by 11, and you open that up, right? Well, in order to create this design, you are going to have to create a box that you're going to put things in that's 2 size. So you're either going to, like, let's say if it was a solid background, I can do this, go to position, and I now need to unlock it, and I need to make this 6 by 4.25. Oops. Okay. And I'm going to lock that in place. Now I can add my design on top of this. If I'm going to add other little elements, no, I don't want to add that. Let's do this one. So I'm going to add other elements. I just have to make sure that it falls within this box. If I'm going to rotate it, you know, whatever it is that I'm going to do, if I'm going to add a blur or a fade to this, whatever it is I'm going to do, you know, I need to like add it. Well, this one, just have to make it a little bit bigger. And of course, you can't shrink stuff down or whatever. So you would add whatever you need to, and then you would be able to select it all, group it, and then print it out. Okay. So if I go to position, it shows that it's a little bit bigger, only because there are elements that are poking out, but we do know that this box is the right size. Don't get caught up on that. This is another issue that people have when it comes to Canva, because they did not take an understanding design, understanding Canva, how it works. They're skipping over my class, which is only 3065, and it will give you the most important information of all, because you'll go into designing. Then when you go to design, you're like, oh, wait, my sizing is off. My sizing is wrong. The average person, because they know, okay, she said it's supposed to be 6 by 4.25. The average person who doesn't come across a training like this and an instructor like me would click on this. They're going to follow exactly what I said. Okay, they have all this stuff, they group together. They're going to go to position. Oh, man, this is the wrong size, right? They're going to try and change this. They're going to put 6, and it's going to go to, they're not going to, okay, well, they said 6. They're not going to pay attention to the height. Or they might make the height 4.25, and it's going to make the width 6.6. And they're going to think, okay, well, I can't. Then it's going to come in the group. Hey, why can't, like, I need to make this 6 by 4.25. It won't let me, whatever. Because with Canva, once you group something together, you cannot unlock the ratio. You cannot force it to be a specific size. You cannot squish it. So they would choose one or the other. They're going to print it out. Oh, man, this is the wrong size. Why? Because you decided to overlook our understanding Canva class. So now you don't understand these principles, because you wanted to go and search YouTube TikTok, you wanted to be in these groups, or you just wanted to take a class that was about designing, and all they're showing you is, oh, you're going to take this one, you're going to put it behind, you're going to fade it, you're going to put some blurs over it, you're going to add text, they just showed you how to plug and play, not how to understand the program for when you are doing something totally different, all because you did not want to pay $30.65 as a one-time payment, or if you wanted to use Sezzle, you didn't want to pay $35.63. You didn't want to go over to 365 Creative Academy. I had to make sure my back end didn't come up. And go to let's search. I got to change my home screen, but we're going to go to all courses, and we're going to go to here. And you have the option of Klarna, Afterpay. You can't use Affirm because it's not high enough, but Klarna and Afterpay, or you want to use Cash App, but you didn't want to pay $30.65 or $35.63, so you're struggling. Or you can just pay $30.65 and fully understand how Canva works, and then take design classes. Okay. So over here, they would think that it's wrong and it's going to come out, incorrect. But if this was ungrouped, it's really this part that is that longer piece. So you can either shrink this in to where it's inside of it. So now, and then this part is also hanging out. So I got to make sure that everything falls with inside. Anything that comes out is now going to affect the size, even though there is no actual content there. So I have to pull this inside. And now when I make the box, we're going to go ahead and group this together. If I make this 6, we are closer to the 4.25. Okay. But it's a matter of understanding each platform and how it actually works. Okay. So Photoshop. You can do, it's still opening. I don't know why. We'll come back to Photoshop. Okay. So hopefully whoever that was about the 15 ounce, you can hopefully that helps you to where you will measure it, and then you are going to create your own template, because you're going to fill your own design in. Even if you go and you buy a file, or you download a file from Creative Fabrica that says that it is for a 15 ounce mug, it's a mug template, mug wrap, or whatever, you make that box, and then you're going to drag and drop that image into that box, or crop it if you're in Silhouette Studio, or if you're going to do Canva, instead of making a regular rectangle, you would do a frame. You would go to position and unlock it, and you would make that 6 by 4.25. And then you would drag and drop your pre-made wrap file into the frame and then go from there. Okay. Or even if you are doing it on that page that was like this, you would just drop that in here and set it as a background, and then just save it so that you can print it out. Okay. If you designed it here and it was 2 on a page, once you share that or save it, you can print this one from your phone, because it's already set up for 8.5 by 11. So when you select 8.5 by 11 as the paper and no scaling, you just want it to just print, it is going to print correctly, and your designs will be the right size. Hopefully you guys are following me. All right. So let's see here. The next one was, let's see. If you have a paper template pattern per se with uneven edges, is there a way to copy or trace that to create and print it that exact size shape? I'm not understanding. You have something with uneven edges, like distressed. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not fully understanding what it is that you're trying to like do. Like if you have something that was set up that way, I probably need a visual for that because I'm not fully understanding. I'll do that at the end because right now I'm talking about the programs, like the design programs. I will answer that at the end. Okay. All right. I'm hoping Photoshop is open. All right. I don't know what the heck was going on. What the heck was that? That error. Oh, I missed it, y'all. It's 12 o'clock on the dot. I'm on my live stream teaching my peeps. Mm-hmm. Wait, what did I say? We're gonna learn, elevate, unlock creativity. I missed 12 o'clock. I told you if I was on here at 12 o'clock, I was gonna do it at the top of the hour, and I missed it. Damn it! Golly. I'm not going to be here till 1, so I won't get opportunity to do that at 1 o'clock. I'm telling you right now. All right, so we're going to go File, New, and you would do the same thing like Canva, where you would go make sure that it's inches, and then you would make this a width of 6 and a height of 4.25, and then create. And you're creating this at template scale, like at the exact scale that you would need, which means when you export this, it is a file, just like you would take a picture that you found off of Google to like resize it. You need to then bring it back in a design program to put it on the size paper that you need it to print to. You need to then scale it because this is designing it to scale. Photoshop is a little bit trickier with if you create a page that is 8.5 by 11 and you're wanting to do that, because then you have to know how to do clipping mask so that you have the box and everything that you're designing fits within that, because if not, it's going to go to the outside. So then you have to know how to do a clipping mask. That's a little bit more advanced. My recommendation, if you are a newbie to this, would be to design it at scale. And then once you have it designed, you would then save it and then bring it over into like on another design page. Only issue with that is, of course, if you notice a mistake, you have to go back to the original, fix that, save it, bring it back over. Okay. But that's going to be the best way to do that if you are a beginner when it comes to Photoshop, because you then have to worry about clipping things down to stay within that space. Okay. I have a pattern with odd shape. I'm still not understanding what you're trying to do, because you're saying a pattern like this. So this is a pattern. So if you had this pattern, what is it that you would be trying to do with a pattern like this? I'm not understanding. Are you trying to say that it's not a true seamless pattern and you're trying to like duplicate it to match them up? Like, I'm not understanding quite exactly what you're trying to do. All right. So I know you said you don't do affinity. I need you to teach me. I'm sorry, I cannot teach you affinity, love. I cannot teach you affinity. Like, I'm never going to do a class, but like I said, you can always book a one-on-one session and I will go over affinity, because and you tell me what it is that you're trying to do. At the end of the day, most of these design platforms work the exact same way, and how you would create something is just understanding and identifying where those tools are in the program that you are using. So you can book a session. 1 hour with me is $53.65. So you can book a one-on-one session, choose a topic that you want to go over, and we can do it that way. But I will never do a class on affinity. All right. Well, we've actually spent, I mean, thanks to, who was that? I think it was Missy. Thank you so much for your question about the mugs, and doing a template. I think that, I mean, we can wrap that up. I don't have to do team too much. That's the one thing I have to learn, is to kind of scale back. I mean, just in that and seeing how to create a template from scratch for something like a mug that is basically just a regular rectangle. Now, there's other things going to take a little bit more. That's a real simplistic one. And we showed how you can do that in Silhouette Studio, how you can do that in Canva, and then as well as like how you would set that up when it comes to Photoshop. So I think we're good there. And that just being a really good example. If there are any questions, I will fill them, maybe give like another like 10 minutes or so if you have any questions as it relates to design. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to ask your questions as it relates to design, those 3 design programs, before I address your question, Sandra, because I will literally end off with that. So that's like not in the middle. Anyone have any questions related to using Silhouette Studio, Canva, or Photoshop? Okay, I have an image with an odd shape. How do I get it to my computer to print? Okay, where is it now? Like, is it like when you say a pattern, is it something that like, a piece of fabric that you have? Is it like an actual, like the old school patterns, like that was like that brown paper, and you already have that and you want to be able to take that? So like, you're not thinking pattern as in the pattern here, like a digital pattern. You're talking old school, like I have the cutout, I have the outline, the pattern. I think that might, and this is where when words are interchangeable, we get kind of confused. So is that what you're referring to? Kind of like, the old school used to go in there to have like, go in the sewing section and you go through all those little things for shirts and skirts and all that stuff. And it's like on that little brown paperish thingy. Is that the type of pattern you're talking about, or a digital pattern? I think that's probably where the miscommunication is, because that word is so interchangeable. Okay. No, I have, say, a cup that's an odd shape. I want to sub it fully. So I use paper to create a template. Then how do I create the design with the same size and shape, then print it? Okay. Now that was the way you should have wrote it. All right. So if you've already taken it and you've taken a piece of paper and you've wrapped it around it and you've marked things off and you've cut it down, that's still a pattern. So it's still the same thing. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. You have something where on paper, it's cut out to the shape that you need. You're going to need to scan that in order to bring it in. If it's bigger than your scanner, it's certain ways you have to do that. I did like a class, like my party favorite class. I showed in there as far as like how to scan and then bring that in. It's using Silhouette Studio. Like you can start in Silhouette Studio and then set it up to use it in other places. But I showed it like more so like we did everything from Silhouette Studio because that's like my first program of like where I'm going to teach from. So you would need to scan that and then bring that into Silhouette Studio, and then you would need to trace it. That's going to be the best way to do it. If it's larger than your scan bed, there's a certain way that you have to do it. I've never done just a class, like people have asked, but you kind of made it just click for me. I've never done a class on just templates, but now I might need to do that, like to just really understand. I think also in my grad program, like that master class, I showed how to do it with stoles. So you can take that class to like get to that part, but you're also going to learn about all the other grad stuff. But I did show the technique, like if you have to do multiple scans, I did show that process in the grad master program when it came to the stole. So that may help you, or be on the lookout. I will put together a series of classes that's about making templates and how to properly do that. Okay. But yeah, if it's a pattern that you already have the shape to, it's cut out from paper, scanning it is going to be the best way to do that. Oh, I didn't see your other question. Okay, hold on. Anita said, why do you go to the transform panel instead of just resizing it from the top? You can go either one. So that's the joy of Silhouette Studio. And I teach that in Essentials of Silhouette Studio, that there are redundancies. It's whichever one you're comfortable. When I'm teaching, it's easier to give someone like a bigger target to like go find. And when you go over it, it says transform panel. So for teaching purposes like this, it was better for me to go there. But when you're in my essentials class, I teach, there are a bunch of redundancies. Like there's transform to the side, there's one at the top. The other thing too is with certain versions, the adjustment at the top has a weird glitch. If you need like that size, it wouldn't have been an issue. But like anything over 19.6, whatever, that one has this weird glitch, and you need to use the transform panel. So that's the reason why I kind of show that in these types of settings where I don't have the time frame like to really break down, okay, is this, and this, you can do this, and this. If it did this, then you do this, and this. So yeah. But they're both the same. Transform is transform, scale is scale. They're just in different positions. I know you have a reason. Knowing helps me out. I'm not checking you, of course. I could not. Oh, I was worried about that. Okay. All right. So there are another questions about design. So I'll answer. Okay, wait. Let's see. I have another compare. I've never done sublimation, but really want to try. First thing I have to do is get a printer for it. I've only done vinyl and rhinestones. You do not have to get a printer for it. Don't listen to people when they tell you that you have to get a printer to just understand sublimation. You need to make sure that it is something that you even want to do, because it's different than vinyl and rhinestones, and you're not limited to what you can put that on. Sublimation, there are limitations. You can take rhinestones and you can stone out, if you're going to do it without it being hot fix. You can use, whatever adhesive you're going to use, and you can stone out any mug, any color, no special coating is required. Well, with sublimation, it requires a specially coated substrate, blank, whichever word you want to use. So you can't just put that on anything. So if you're used to, like, you have all this inventory of these mugs and things, like, I'm not sure if you have, I'm just saying for anyone. If you have a business, you have these mugs, you're used to like rhinestoning them, and now you want to try so you have to purchase a new set of mugs. You cannot sublimate to those mugs. Either you're going to get ones that are sub ready, or there is a coating from Subli Glaze, I think it's called, or something like that. And it has like a couple different ones. So you have to spray it, you have to heat set it, like put it in an oven, you got to spray another coat, put it in the oven for it to cure. So it's like this whole process. It's the same process they do with regular mugs, but you would have to do that. So I don't recommend like going and jumping straight into it. When I got started with sublimation, I purchased transfers. I did not own a sublimation printer until let me say 2019, 18, I think 2017-ish, somewhere in there, when Ebony invited me to them people group. That's when I finally, because they wasn't doing what they need to do, and I needed to show how to do it. And I got a printer to show the whole setup. That's when I got a printer. But I did transfers for the longest. You can find someone local. I had someone local, so you can't be like, oh, where'd you order yours from? Are they going to be able to ship? I ordered local. There was a company here, and you just go, you send them your file, they're able to print it out. Pretty sure there's a bunch of people in your area who have sublimation printers. Go ahead and create your designs. Just have some proper sizing, send it to them, let them print it out, and then you're going to get those. Now it does kind of, if you make a mistake, things of that nature, having to constantly order them. I get that might seem like a pain in the butt to begin with, but I promise you it is a lot better than going to get this machine. Then you have to worry about the maintenance of this machine, printing the machine, learning this, all these different things about, actually like printing. That's a whole other learning curve. Learning sublimation is one thing. Learning how to maintain and utilize the printer is something different. Some people may feel like it's something that's just very, very simple, but I get questions on the daily for people having issues with their printers. And then now they're frustrated because the printer issues was keeping them from doing the sublimation part of it. I would say learn and master the sublimation part. Well, not say master, but just at least learn it and make sure that you actually like doing it and the limitations of it doesn't, turn you off. And then invest in the proper printer, and you can do research. Do you need to start off with a small one just to kind of, get your feet wet with printing? Or do you need to go to a larger one because everything that you're doing is larger prints? So all you really need for sublimation is a print on sublimation paper with sublimation ink. Anyone can give that to you, and you need a heat source. That is how you start sublimation, not going out and getting a printer. Okay. So if it's just for, so even for shirts, right? You can put rhinestones, you can put vinyl on any color shirt, on, pretty much any material. I just rhinestoned my son's prom jacket, and that jacket is polyester, right? And I put hot fix stones on that jacket. It was a blue jacket. You can put it on anything. When it comes to sublimation, you cannot do that. It needs to be a synthetic fiber. Technically, what we call that is polyester. And there's different grades of like polyester. Some that are more cotton-like, some that are like satin look, some that are more shiny, right? Like it's super shiny. So you have to have polyester. Ideally, it needs to be white when it comes to subbing. And so this is how, like this is a fully sublimated shirt with HTV. So this is not sublimated. This is true glitter HTV here and here and in the mouth, right? So this is like a layer design, but this shows up this way. The shirt that I have on today is and this is like these rags are white. This rag started off as white. That's why you see the white. There is no white sublimation ink. It's not opaque. Oh, sublimation ink is translucent. So you come out better putting it on white. When you're not using white, this is what happens, right? So you're not seeing the true colors because it's translucent. The color from my shirt is going to come through that, and it's going to affect it. It's not going to be as vibrant for certain colors. And then for certain fabric or color fabrics like red, almost everything comes out either it's non-existent or it's going to come out looking black. Same thing with certain greens, certain blues. So you are very limited. It's not, I don't find it, to me, I have to say it that way based off of what people are used to doing. I don't find sublimation limiting because I'm like, I use it for what it's intended to be used for, and nothing else. No other process will ever give me this look. No other process will give me a print that's, you cannot tell where the shirt ends, the print ends and the shirt begins, and vice versa. It's dyed into the shirt. No other process is going to give me that. So it's a very unique process. But if you're like, I want to do cotton shirts, colored shirts, then sublimation is limiting for that. You have to then use an outside, like an additional like layer of something like glitter HTV and things of that nature. So that's kind of how that works. Order some prints. We were at one point doing print. We pretty much only do it for people that are local because, I mean, when you're getting the print's going to cost you little to nothing. But on average, like if you want priority mail shipping, that I don't control that. Like from 1 ounce to 15 ounces. If you want priority mail, you're going to be paying at least $8. And the print itself, if you order like a couple sheets of prints, you might only be paying, $5, right? Depending on the size that you're getting, or $3. And the shipping is going to cost you $8 if you want it priority mail. Now, if you don't mind it being snail mail, they have like the Ground Advantage. You'll probably pay like $5 somewhere in there. We don't do stamps, so we're not going to go. And then, of course, you have to do that. Like, we're not doing that. So we do it through our website. So you could end up paying. Some people just think like that's far-fetched to pay $5, $8, $9 for something that only cost them $3. But that's just how shipping works. The best thing to do is find someone local where you can go pick it up. But if all else fails, you can contact us and order them. We'll have you send us your files. We'll print them out and we will send them off to you. Okay. Thank you. We taught that in a class. Okay. I'm so glad I found your channel. I can see I'm going to learn a lot. Well, welcome. We've been at this for a really, really long time. I'm not sure which one you're on because you're on the YouTube feed. So we have 3 YouTube channels over there. Silhouholics Anonymous, which is technically dedicated to all things silhouette. Honestly Speaking, which is kind of our free for all, but it's more so like our sublimation paper and pigment ink and things of that nature. And then 365 Creative Academy is just an extension of our Academy site. So you can subscribe to all 3. Because I'm talking about Silhouette Studio, Photoshop, and Canva, I am broadcasting to all 3 platforms. If I'm ever doing a session that's just about silhouette, I will only be on Silhouholics Anonymous. And I'm going to transition to where anything else will be on 365 Creative Academy and make, Honestly Speaking, only for things that relate to our products. Okay. All right. So you're on Silhouholics Anonymous. So that's the one that's technically dedicated to all things Silhouette Studio. And well, silhouette related. So Silhouette Studio and the machines. All right. So to close out, thank you guys so very much. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. And just another example of Silhouette Studio versus Photoshop versus Canva. And you're seeing how you can do the exact same thing, but it's just different steps for each platform. Okay. And I will be back at 11 o'clock on the dot on my live stream, teaching my peeps. We're going to learn, elevate, unlock creativity. I'm going to finish the rest of that. I am. I'm going to sit and try and figure out the rest of that. But my goal is to try and do 11 o'clock and let that be the sweet spot because it's after my morning class. And most of my, like lately, most of my one-on-one sessions have been at like 10. But see, that they do 10, they go over a little bit. I won't be able to do 11. So I don't know. I got to figure that out. But if I don't have anything going on before then, I'm going to do my best to be on at 11 o'clock on the dot. Okay. Since y'all want a specific time for your girl to find me. All right. But thank you guys so very much. Sandra, I'm still going to answer your question. Okay. So I didn't forget about you. I just want to close out this part for anyone that doesn't care about, understanding what our classes are. So thank you guys so very much. Make sure that you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, tag a friend, share it with a friend, follow us just everywhere. Follow us on Facebook. At some point, I'm going to do Instagram. We are 365 Creative Academy on TikTok. Yeah, until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. All right. Peace. Now, Sandra, let me go back over here and look at the ones that you were asking about. Okay, you must be on. Oh, no, not that one. I put the wrong one in. So I'm like, are you on the what's name? Okay. So you're on here, and let me show this for anyone else who was trying to figure out what she was referring to. So she asked, what was the difference, right? So Basically, with these, it was more, like I said, like it says in there, addressing your fears of rejection and breaking down the pros and cons of bulk ordering versus ordering on demand for orders. Like that was what session 2 was. It's not really teaching the breakdown of how you can do your pricing, like giving you different pricing models. It's for those who are like, I just don't understand how to close out the sales, like if I need to do bulk, what that really means, because 10 ain't bulk, you're giving out discounts. So it's more so like it definitely teaches a lot of great information in there. People grow from that. It's almost like a mindset type deal. And I need to change this because then people think like, oh, well, this was in 2023, but it's still relevant. So I'm going to go in. I'm actually doing a full revamp of a lot of the class and adding some additional info to them. So this one was just like addressing like the foundational part of it. Oh, I didn't realize there was no description to this. Oh, wow. So this therapy session was really talking about like, again, fears of like pricing, kind of talked about like different pricing structure and how they could and could not work, things of that nature. It's a therapy session. Okay. It was almost like a mindset class on pricing. And then the second one was specifically about bulk ordering and offering on demand, like for orders. That was a specific topic for that one. By the end of the day, the description for this will change. I didn't realize that I didn't have the actual description because this was kind of like a pop-up class. It was actually a part of a bigger program. But these came because they were a part of a bigger program, but I offered it a la carte to others to join just that one part of the creative business program. And then pricing for profit, same thing. This one truly breaks down different pricing models. Whether like what's the pros and cons of the just times 3. It's looking at how much it is that you want to make and then going like engineering it backwards, and just breaking down how I break down pricing. And I don't just use that model. It's understanding what all you should be accounting for, determining what your overhead is, if you're just starting out, if you're seasoned, giving you tips and things on you need to document how long it takes you to do things so that you can apply the right labor. So like this is a full framework and teaching a framework for pricing. And this is, you need to get your mind right. Okay. These are mindset. In order to save as a PNG or a JPEG, you do have to have business edition. PNG, I don't recommend if you're trying to send it off somewhere, like, if you're going to do DTF, I don't recommend saving as a PNG from Silhouette Studio for DTF. I have a whole video about that on Honestly Speaking and Silaholics Anonymous YouTube channel. Just search either Honestly Speaking DTF or Silaholics Anonymous DTF and you'll find that. But I don't recommend saving as a PNG. JPEG, it's going to be, same way as far as like saving it. If you're going to do DTF, it's best to save it as a PDF and then take it into a different program to save it as a PNG, like Photoshop is my program of choice, or like Illustrator or Corel Draw, and open up that PDF and then just export it as a PNG with transparent background, because from Silhouette Studio, you're going to end up with a white haze around everything. So, but you have to have business. And when you go to save, you just go File, Save As. You're going to save it to your hard drive. And down here, Type, you have all these different types that you can save as. But you have to have business edition. Both are great. Like they were all, like you can see like the time frames on them. All 3 were a part of a bigger program. We have our creative business program where we kind of go through that as well. But they're all great. Like they're all great. So yeah. I will, like I said, I am revamping some. You can start the seminar. You can start there just to kind of understand the model, but what's taught in here definitely reinforces what's here. But this is not live anymore. You can see this is 2023, but you'll get the playback. So I'm actually going to put my notes. That's the one that I will work on today. I didn't realize there was no description. So by the end of the day, you'll see the full on descriptions of each one. And on the Academy side, I might make them a bundle. I just might make them a bundle on the Academy side. Okay. All right, y'all. I got to go because I got work to do. And I got to go tend to the little people because it's summertime. Once again, until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity. Be incredible for the last time. Peace.